This is the Cool Down Podcast. I'm Tyler, a coach who believes you can be strong, mobile, and human all at the same time. Around here, we don't glorify burnout. We train hard, recover harder, and talk honestly about what it takes to show up fully in the gym and in life. Let's break the mold, build resilience, and breathe through the chaos. This is your moment to slow down. Welcome to the Cool Down. Hey guys, welcome back to the Cool Down. I'm Tyler, and thank you so much for being here. If you are tuning in online on YouTube and watching this, we're in a new spot. We're just in a different part of my apartment. And if you are tuning in on audio, thank you so much for being here. Feel free to tune in on my YouTube channel at Tyler Argento to watch these episodes. These episodes are going to continue to be little glimpses or just shorter episodes until these evolve a little bit longer. But for now, I feel like 15 to 20 minute episodes are perfect. Just a little bit of a cool down, a little bit of a break to slow down, hear some encouraging words, hear some positivity, hear some real words, honestly. Going through these things together is much easier. So let's dive into it. This is episode number 2 of the Return of the Cool Down podcast. I'm so excited to be here. This is The Comeback Isn't Glamorous. Let's dive into this episode. So again, my name is Tyler. Thank you so much for being here. I am so happy you are here with me today. And today I want to talk about what it really looked like to rebuild my life and my routine after hitting rock bottom. I spoke a lot online this summer about how things have just been a lot different for me. So I want to jump into that. This is not the highlight reel version, but the real version, the real nitty gritty of really what went down. Everything just kind of blew up because at one point this summer, my car broke down. It seemed like everything hit me at once. It seemed like I literally couldn't get anywhere. My car broke down and I fixed it. And then it broke down again when I got home. And then I fixed it again. And then I fixed it again. And then I fixed it 2 more times. And it finally just occurred to me that I have to buy a new car. And yes, that's amazing. And it's definitely something fun to lean into. But at the time, it truly made me feel like I hit rock bottom. It was a literal metaphor to my life to slow the heck down. So there was a point not that long ago where I literally felt so freaking lost, guys, mentally, physically, emotionally, and not in my cute, I'm in my healing era kind of way. I mean, genuinely, I was exhausted. I was burnt out. I have not hit burnout like this in a long time. I didn't feel like myself at all. I lost my confidence, my drive, my energy, literally you name it. I didn't know how to show up online, let alone I didn't know how to show up in person. I avoided people constantly. I wore a hat every day to literally create tunnel vision for myself, which is so sad now that I look back and think about that. And if you know me or if you've been following me for a while, you know this is not like me. Everything just felt really heavy, even the really simple things like replying to messages, replying to emails, taking a grocery trip. I love grocery shopping, doing my laundry. Everything just felt like way too much. I actually kept telling my friends over the summer, I literally cannot see past my own eyelashes. And I'm not even exaggerating. I could not see past tomorrow. I didn't talk about it a lot at the time in person. I know I did mention it a few times online, but I truly felt like a shell of the person I used to be. And that version of me, that rock bottom, no routine, no motivation, not working version of me, she's the reason I'm here. She's the reason I'm here right now doing this. Because what I've realized is that girl rebuilt me. She forced me. She made me slow down. She made me ask better questions to myself and other people. She forced me to ask help. She forced me to stop performing and start getting honest about what I really, really wanted in my life and needed. She forced me to sit down and learn. There's a lot of shifts and changes happening right now, and these transitions are really great things. However, wrapping my mind around all these things has been quite difficult. So let's talk about the mindset shift. I used to think rebuilding everything meant overhauling, like literally everything. Like we have to redo everything, take it all down, burn it down. I actually think I said that in a previous podcast that I was interviewed on. I was like, just burn it down. I'm ready to go. New habits, new routine, new everything, and all at once. But truly, I had to like reel it back in. I felt like I was in the wild, wild west, and I was in the wild, or in a rodeo. And I was like, no, Tyler, slow down. That's the metaphor here too. So actually, this is what I learned. You don't need to rebuild everything by changing everything overnight. You rebuild by coming back to yourself. One small promise at a time. That's key. Keeping the promises to yourself. Keep showing up, even if it's not perfect. The trick for me was truly creating awareness around what the heck was actually going on in my current life and in the situations that I was in. Analyzing every single bucket. And if you're in that place right now where life feels heavy or you feel like you've kind of lost your rhythm, I want to share with you that that's completely normal. And I want to help you and share with you with what actually helped me get back on track. Life is seasons. These things happen. We change, we evolve. We evolve every day. We're supposed to. So our routines and habits just need to evolve with us. But I realize that's one of the hardest things to do. And I do see that a lot within myself, my clients that I coach, and a lot of my friends and family around me. This is completely normal. So the way I got through that was accepting where I am. There's nothing I can do about it right now. And that's okay. That's why I'm showing up. So let me tell you what that rebuilding stage really did look like. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't Pinterest perfect. I literally had to sit down and rewrite this a few times, but I made a huge list about what I wanted my life to look like. What were the things I wanted to start incorporating back into my life? What did these things look like? So I wrote everything down, but again, you can't build Rome overnight. It doesn't happen. So I wrote all of these things down and I picked what I was going to start working on. I'm going to name a few things, but truly I kept these things really small and I looked at it as bullet points throughout the day. So these were just touch points throughout the day and they were very, very, very simple and accessible. So let's dive into this list. So I picked 3 non-negotiables for my health and wellness: walk, lift, eat protein. That's it. I wasn't stressing over getting my fruits and veggies. However, that was naturally happening anyways, but I wasn't stressing myself out about it. I was just telling myself, let's get minimum 7,500 steps in. That is quite easy for me to do on a daily basis with my job. Get a lift in, even if it's only 45 minutes to an hour. It doesn't matter what that looks like, 2 to 4 times a week. I told myself, even if I was getting in 2 lifts a week, that was huge. That was a win right now. And that was something that was really hard for me to accept at first, because coming from lifting 5 days a week, powerlifting, cutting, competing, that was really hard for me to digest. And then just getting in protein. I didn't want to lose my muscle. I wanted to preserve as much as I could. I knew I was hitting my steps. I knew I was getting outside. I knew I was getting those lifts in, so I wanted to make sure those lifts were as efficient as I possibly can make them. So I wanted to back it up with my protein for sure. So that's it. I stuck with those 3 things and they've been working, and I'm just rebuilding on top of those things as we go. I walked Oliver every day to get those steps, and I did it in silence. I didn't listen to music. I didn't listen to a podcast. I truly just sat with myself so I could finally hear my thoughts. If you know, I train about 20 to 30 in-person / virtual sessions a week. I'm talking all the time. You're probably wondering, why am I talking on a podcast? This is fun. My job is fun. I love training clients. I love connecting with people. I'm obsessed with it, actually. But I really had to realize that because I do love it so much, I have to preserve my energy and make sure I take care of myself in order to be able to give back to people, which can apply to anyone. And I highly encourage that you do that. Take time for yourself to refill your cup so that you can give to the people around you as much love and kindness and respect as possible. So in addition to that, I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I started putting it on at 8 p.m. and Friday nights I started putting it on at 5 p.m. It was crazy, but I just did it and I stopped apologizing to myself for it. Going back to training, I made sure I trained no matter what. I made sure to train even on the days that I didn't feel strong, because I remembered that showing up for myself training, hitting my lifts, and feeling strong really boosted my confidence, made me feel good, and also helped me reach other goals that I know that are on the menu for me. Speaking of the menu, I cooked basic meals. I didn't stress myself out about meal prep. I didn't stress out about making like extravagant meals, tracking every single thing. You'll hear me talk about this all the time. I highly encourage my clients track their foods just in the beginning, at least when they're trying to learn what these things are. However, I know that can be a little bit overwhelming for a lot of people, and that's okay. If you are working with me in Power Flow, you know that we work with macros in a completely different way outside of just counting them to find ways that are actually sustainable for you to learn and grow and hit your goals and reach those goals. But anyways, I digress. But just making sure I was visualizing, a palm full of protein, a palm full of fiber, because I was still trying to get my fiber in no matter what. Frozen vegetables are the way to do it when you're desperate, trust me. And just making sure that I had a little bit of carbs in there too, so I could sustain energy and keep going. Don't overthink it, guys, especially in these moments when you're just trying to rebuild. And then 2 more things. I journaled 1 sentence in the morning instead of scrolling on my phone. And actually, instead of scrolling on my phone, I gave up Instagram. And if you recall, I was off Instagram for almost 2 months this summer, and boy, did it make a difference. And boy, did it help me break some bad habits that I didn't even realize I was doing. I was scrolling like crazy. Oh my goodness, guys. So yeah, get off Instagram if you can for a little bit. It really does help. And then the one last thing that was really, 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 really hard for me to do was I gave myself permission to cancel plans, especially when I was overwhelmed. And I even canceled on myself. It wasn't even that I was canceling on my friends or family when I had plans. And I didn't cancel everything. I just want to make sure I say that. But sometimes those weekends where I really knew I needed to just stay in and sometimes work, but I would stay home sometimes just to relax on the couch, watch a TV show, couch rot, whatever you want to call it. I enjoyed that. It helped me fill my cup, and it just helped me take the stress off of myself. And like I was saying, I even canceled on myself. I had some weekend trips planned that I canceled a few weeks before. I was like, I just got to stay home. I got to honor the stillness, because remember, that's how I got here. Doing too much. So I know that can seem like a pretty long list, but they were very simple, accessible, easy tasks that I was able to do. That is what healing looked like for me. It wasn't some huge dramatic pivot. It was just daily commitments to come back to myself in small and gentle ways. So these are my thoughts. If you're in a season where everything just feels off, you're not broken. You're not behind. You're just in a transition. Transitions are not easy. Change is hard, but we can still be excited about the changes to come. With change comes evolving. Evolving is hard, but it's fun. And there's always light at the other end of evolving. So I really want to just try to remind myself and you that we're making changes for a really good reason. We're going to evolve. And like I said, there's always light at the end of this. I really just want to try to remind myself and you that we're making changes for a really good reason. We're going to evolve, and there's light at the end of the tunnel. It keeps me on track, remembering that and reminding myself of that. And it also keeps me motivated to keep pushing through. And truly, it does get me excited to keep going. I always remind myself there's going to be light at the end of this. And if it's not easy yet, it's not the end. I'm still figuring it out. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just zoom all the way out, get quiet, and start again from the beginning. I love a refresh. I love a restart. It is a little daunting at times, but truly, the more you do it, the easier and easier it gets. Rebuilding isn't glamorous. It's scary, but you're allowed to take your time. You're allowed to move through it slowly. You're allowed to give yourself grace to figure it out. And most importantly, you're allowed to start over. You are allowed to start over. And just like in training, we don't skip the cool down. It's part of the process. It's how we reset. It's where we reflect, and it's how we grow. This podcast is part of mine. This helps me slow down. This is the cool down. Thank you so much for being here with me, guys. If you connected with this episode, please take a second to subscribe. Please, please, please leave a 5-star rating and review, or share it with someone who might seriously really need to hear this. Any of these things that you do truly helps me. I'm a small business and I'm just trying to get this podcast back up and running and going. So every little ounce of help helps so much. I'm Tyler. This is The Cool Down, and I'll see you in the next episode.